What's going on, guys? Kevin here from thesportsgeek.com, and in this video I'm going over my DraftKings NFL Divisional Round picks. Alright, so before we move on to the Divisional Round picks, let's take a look back at the wildcard picks from last weekend. Overall, great week. We had Cousins and Reed as our top stack. Cousins was the top scoring quarterback with 25 points, and Reed was not only the top scoring tight end, but he was the top scoring pass catcher with 30 points. He had a monster game. And then Chiefs defense was my defense I listed as my favorite defense. They put up 29 points, 17 points more than the next defense. So in order to win any big money, you needed to have those three guys. So I nailed it with those picks. And then on the right-hand side, you can see I had a couple busts with my value wide receivers. We had Diggs, 7.2 points, and Lockett with just 4.5 points. Just missing getting into the end zone there. He got tackled about the 2-yard line. And then the other picks I gave out were pretty average, low double digits, but overall great weekend with a top stack and a top defense. And I got some great emails. We'll take a look at a couple of them now. Okay, so we had Eric who said he won $300 in a 25-cent game last week, and he's up a few $1,000s this year. Congrats, Eric. James said Chiefs pick and the stack were spot on. $1,500 payday and a stone's throw from a huge day. That was the same with me. I had a great payday, but I was very, very close to getting a really big payday if Deshaun Jackson would have taken in that touchdown too. But congrats, $1,500 is awesome. Josh Neal won $210. Congrats, Josh. Mike Lee, he won $90 this week. Congrats, Mike. And then my favorite one of them all is Joe. He won $1,505 in the quarter arcade last night. He had a lot of the guys I recommended: Cousins, Brown, Green, Reed, Chiefs defense. You can see the screenshot he sent me there. He entered $2.25 for the whole weekend, and he won $1,505. And you can see there he was in the quarter arcade, which is 25 cents to enter. He got second out of 235,000. That's amazing. Congrats to you, Joe. If you guys sent me an email and I didn't get back to you, congrats to you. If you didn't send me an email, if you didn't win last week, I hope you win big here this week in the divisional round. Okay, and like we've been doing lately, let's take a look at the wildcard Millionaire Maker winning lineup. This guy put up 200.36 points, which was a pretty monster score for this weekend. He went with the Cousins Reed stack and also Chiefs defense. All three of those plays I was really big on. I just didn't have this combination of players. You can see here he had a really unique lineup. He had James Starks, which I thought was a risky play. Didn't really know if Lacey or Starks was going to get most of the action there, but they both split the time and split touches. Starks put up a couple more points, 14.5. And then the really unique play, I love this play. I didn't pull the trigger on it myself because I just wasn't really sure what Washington was going to do. Pierre Thomas had been catching a lot of passes out of the backfield, but he went with Redskins, basically third string running back Chris Thompson. So if you thought the Redskins were going to be trailing, picking one of their pass catching running backs, so Thomas or Thompson with Matt Jones out, would have been a great play. This guy did it, and not a lot of people did. As you can see, 0.6% owned. He put up 19.4 points. So that was a great play there. He had Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, two really good Steelers receivers with high upside. AJ Green is a great play almost every week. And then he did something really unique here, putting Travis Kelce in the flex spot. So he went with two tight ends, which I believe is the first time this year that two tight ends has won the Millionaire Maker. So in a short slate like this, getting a unique lineup like that with two tight ends might be a good idea. I'll take a look at it this week. I might not do it. I haven't been doing that lately, but we'll see. If you really like two tight ends, it's a great play. So this guy had a great lineup. Congrats to this guy, and hopefully my lineup's up there this week. All right, so let's move on to my DraftKings NFL Divisional Round picks. My top stack of the week is going to be Carson Palmer at 6,500 and Larry Fitzgerald also at 6,500. Palmer's been having a great season. He was in contention for the MVP during the season. Fell off a little bit towards the end, but still a great season by him. He had 25 or more DraftKings points 4 times this year and 20 or more DraftKings points 8 times. So great fantasy football quarterback. And then he faced the Packers in Week 16. He had 265 yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception and a blowout win. So it was a blowout win for the Cardinals. He wasn't throwing much in the second half. I believe this week he'll be throwing. It'll be a closer game, and I think he'll get over the 300-yard mark. And then we have Fitzgerald, who slowed down at the end of the season, but I'm pretty sure that the Cardinals were just resting him, keeping him healthy for the playoffs. He's getting old, so they kind of slowed down his targets and that kind of stuff towards the end of the season. But he did have 2 games over 30 DraftKings points this year and multiple double-digit DraftKings point games. One of the top receivers in the league. I think he'll get 10-plus targets this week, and I think he'll put up a big game. And at running back, sticking with the Cardinals, I'm going with David Johnson at $6,000. I've had him in my video every time since taking over starter, and it's been pretty profitable for us. He's put up 20, 17, 47, 21, and 8 DraftKings points since taking over as a starter. And the game with 8 DraftKings points was in week 17 when he was pulled in the second half to rest. They were being blown out. They already had their playoff spot clinched, and he got taken out. So take that 8 away, and he's averaging over 20 DraftKings points per game. In week 16 versus the Packers, he rushed for 9 times with 39 yards and a touchdown, and he also added 3 receptions for 88 yards. So he put up a good day, 21.7 DraftKings points, and I'm guessing he'll get over 20 DraftKings points again this week. He has the upside to get 30 or more as well. All right, so I'm going with another Cardinals receiver, Michael Floyd at 5,100. This is another receiver you could stack with Palmer for a cheaper stack. If you want to fit in some more expensive players elsewhere, you can go with Floyd paired up with Palmer at 5,100. He has 5 games with 20 or more DraftKings points despite missing time at the start of the season. And versus the Packers, he had 6 catches on 8 targets for 111 yards and 20.1 DraftKings points. That was without a touchdown, so that was a pretty big game for him. So if you want to go cheaper, Michael Floyd's a great option. Another one of my top receivers is Doug Baldwin at 6,800. Although the Seahawks scored just 10 points last week, Baldwin still had 15.2 DraftKings points. He had 5 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. And before last week, he had scored 20 or more DraftKings points in 6 of his last 8 games, including games with 32 and 41 DraftKings points. So he's a great receiver, has crazy high upside too, as you can see. And he should avoid the top corner for the Panthers, Josh Norman, as he lines up in the slot. I'm expecting another big game from him. He got 15.2 DraftKings points last week. I would expect 20 or more this week. Top tight end play of the week is Travis Kelce at 5,100. His ownership is going to be high because of his big game last week. He had 8 catches for 128 yards, but I still think I'll have him in a lot of my lineups. He's a great pass catcher, but he's around $2,000 cheaper than Olsen and Gronk, who I think he's pretty similar in skill level to. He broke 15 DraftKings points 5 times during the regular season and 3 other games with double-digit DraftKings points. So I think Kelce's the top value play at tight end this week at 5,100. And lastly, my top defense is the Cardinals at 3,800. They're the 4th price defense this week, which was kind of surprising to me. I thought they might be the 2nd or 3rd price defense. When they faced the Packers in week 16 at home, they had 9 sacks, 2 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 touchdowns for a crazy 33 DraftKings points. So you can't predict defensive touchdowns, and you can't expect them to score 2 touchdowns again this week, but I think they will be able to pressure Rodgers again this week and have a pretty solid week. And again, defense is random. Don't go all in on one defense if you're doing multiple lineups. I usually have my top defense in about 30 to 50% of my lineups. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by clicking the thumbs up button on YouTube so I know to keep making them. Last week, we barely hit our goal of 1,500. I checked actually Tuesday morning and it was right on 1,500. I wasn't going to do one otherwise. I was just going to send out my picks via email. So if you guys like these videos, make sure you click on the thumbs up button. I'm going to make one next week if we can get to 1,500 thumbs up. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button. All right, guys, and if you guys want my free lineup generator tool, if you don't already have it, make sure you click on the link in the description below, the lineup tool link. That will get you my free lineup tool, and it'll also give you my email updates as well. All right, guys, so as always, good luck, and I hope you make some money this week. Cheers.